Good morning, folks. I'm Sanni. I'm the founder and CEO of Dollaride. So if you don't know, Dollaride is a, here we go. Dollaride is a mobility company focused on providing clean transportation solutions in urban communities. Currently, right now, we're probably best known for our CTAP program, which stands for the Clean Transit Access Program. This is a NYSERDA-funded project designed to accelerate the transition to clean transportation for urban fleets in New York City. CTAP is a $25 million project that was seeded with a $10 million grant from NYSERDA, and it also includes $15 million in private capital from green banks and impact investors. Essentially, what we do is we work with local fleet owners, which are typically mom and pop companies that are providing transportation all around our city, and we help them get access to electric vehicles and charging infrastructure through our community partnerships. Now, while CTAP is essentially about electrifying fleets and creating EV charging infrastructure, we did find a huge gap and opportunity that completely transformed how I thought about the project. In the last 2 years, we found through research that there were over 1,500 unique job posts online at common recruiting websites like Monster and Indeed for CDL drivers in New York City. Does anyone know what a CDL is, or a CDL driver? Right, it's commercial driver's license. And with these over 1,500 job openings, they were all across about 300 small businesses around the city. Now, these businesses provide transportation services like commuter van service, AKA dollar vans, but also things like the Accessoride program, which is managed and funded by the MTA. But these companies also provide non-emergency medical transport, delivery, and logistics. So it's all types of transportation solutions, but the key thing here is that they need drivers who are properly credentialed and trained. So meanwhile, workforce development organizations all around the city also aim to train these same individuals for good jobs with livable wages. But one of the common critiques or complaints that I hear from workforce development organizations is that they often struggle with connecting their trainees to real jobs after the training. So after doing some research and talking to folks, I started to think perhaps CTAP, this program that we thought was all about vehicles and charging infrastructure, can really be a bridge that connects these two sides: the employers who need skilled drivers, as well as other professionals in the transportation industry, and connecting them to the organizations that are ready to train them. Now, CTAP has always had a community engagement component to it, and this is where we embrace deep community partnerships to lower project risk and increase technology adoption. In fact, we follow this brilliant framework that was created by the Elemental Impact Organization. They're one of Dollaride's clean tech investors. And this is called the Square Partnerships model, where essentially all the key stakeholders they have a voice and they have a seat at the table when it comes to developing and implementing a project. Now, for Dollaride, in our case, the CBOs represent community-based organizations that do workforce development in New York City. And that's represented by the upper right corner of the square. So we appreciate the need for workforce development in advancing CTAP, but to be completely honest, I had my doubts and concerns, and my teammates as well did too, about whether this was really relevant to our core business model. You know, was this gonna be a distraction or something that we couldn't really sustain, because obviously we're still a startup. And like many startups, we struggle and are dealing with the typical startup challenges and resource constraints that you'll find at small businesses. As a startup on this journey, it felt much like balancing on a tightrope. And there was no shortage of doubts and questions that we've had along the way. some of the questions are here. But fortunately, we were able to lean on our community partners and local agencies to navigate this workforce development ecosystem. So this is a quick example of some of the things that we have done, as well as the organizations we've engaged with, to get a better understanding of how can we accomplish and implement a workforce development program into our business model. Workforce development partnerships are complex, but sometimes the resources are right there in front of you and underneath your noses. For example, we've actively built relationships with organizations like Perch Advisors, the UFL, and the NYC ETC, right, the Employment and Training Coalition, to essentially borrow their capacity and tap into their existing expertise and relationships. Now, I call these folks on the left the navigators, because they are the ones that were helping us navigate these uncharted territories. As navigators, they provided us guidance, connections, and capacity that helped me and the Dollaride team successfully engage with workforce development organizations. So as a practical example, the UFL team organized a couple of months ago a pilot project and resource that I think was maybe like loosely coined Innovator Meets Workforce. And essentially, to me, it felt like I was at a speed dating event. Over the course of a few hours, I had 4 very intense meetings with 4 different workforce development organizations, but we accomplished a tremendous amount of progress in that amount of time. We developed frameworks for how we could work together. We learned about our business models, and we talked about key issues like funding and sustainability, as well as mapped what is it like for someone to go through a training experience at their organizations today, and what it could be like if they were training for a job that came through Dollaride's CTAP program. So nonetheless, in less than 24 hours, we accomplished a great deal, and it definitely accelerated Dollaride's ability to partner with workforce development organizations. So there is immense potential for tech startups that drive their missions by integrating workforce development into their business models and their activities. The upside can be achieving business goals while also developing and delivering on community impact. This work requires deliberate, sustained effort, navigating complex systems, building trust, and managing the inherent expenses and resources that may be constrained at a typical startup. However, if we're thoughtful about this approach, I believe that workforce development and strategic community engagement can accelerate our clean tech businesses. So what you see here is a rendering, but it's actually like a vision that I have for CTAP, where we'll be creating clean transit hubs all around New York City that essentially combine EV charging infrastructure with training centers where drivers and folks around the community can learn about clean tech and also gain skills and credentials to be a part of this transition with us. So if you're an investor in the room or a workforce development organization or someone who's just enthusiastic about this sort of approach and want to have an impact in their local community, please come see me and members of the Dollaride team here today. We're happy to collaborate and we welcome you on our journey. Thank you.